Is D Rose in his prime? I think you got to say he's better than Westbrook, right?
No. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Unfortunately, no.
See, you like what is your
I don't
barometer for
know.
the
I
Hall
don't
of
know.
Fame?
I don't know.
Because you just told me that they gave Westbrook the Hall of Fame because he has the MVP.
No, the MVP. The MVP. Yeah, of
Derrick
course.
Rose is the youngest MVP ever,
And some argue that he shouldn't have gotten that. LeBron should have got that MVP.
but he got it.
That's what I'm saying. Westbrook got it. So Westbrook's in the Hall of Fame. D
So
Rose.
Rose is in the Hall of Fame. By your logic, Rose is in the Hall of Fame.
How far did they made it to the Eastern Conference?
He got there. He was LeBron's biggest threat in the East.
For like
Don't forget that.
for like 1 year.
It's like for like 2-3 years. That whole Miami Heat run, their biggest competition was the Bulls.
Celtics, I would say.
I'm lying. It was
Celtics.
no. It
For
was the
1 year, I
Bulls.
would say 1 year.
And then for 1 year it was the Pacers. But I'll say at least 2
Come on
years.
now. That was the media. In retrospect, we see what it was. We really know the Pacers, they were not real competition. That was all media. We know now. We know.
It wasn't all media. They took him to 6 games, right? Or 5. I don't know. They took him to 6. They took him to 6 games.
That was like one of Roy Hibbert's last years in the league. Like he just couldn't even make an NBA team after that. Like
he just disappeared. But Roy Hibbert was like, he was a dominant force on that Pacers team, and then just
1 year.
But then just disappeared. I've never seen anything like that.
Because he was getting 0 rebounds out of 48 minutes. Like I don't know what happened to him.
But why is D Rose not if and you can look at D Rose the same way you look at Grant Hill, because Grant Hill, his career was never what it was because of injuries. The same thing with D Rose. So why is D Rose?
You got a point. If Grant Hill is in there, then
Grant never won the MVP either.
But is he in the Hall of Fame now?
Yes, Grant got in.
I still can't believe it. So D Rose was a 3-time All-Star. He was 2010 All-NBA, 2008 All-Rookie, 2010 MVP, and 2008 Rookie of the Year.
So he's on the Knicks now. If he's playing these roles like Vince Carter played these last 5 years and puts up points and gets to a certain number, like he's in the Hall of Fame.
I can't really see it, to be honest.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Is Andre Iguodala in the Hall of Fame? See, wait. There's a debate. So you look at Rose and you look at Iggy, and you can't say one or the other. Like, is Andre in the Hall?
No, you really can't put Andre in the Hall.
But look at Andre Iguodala's career. Like, he has more accolades than some of these people who are in the Hall right now.
So Iggy is he's one-time
3-time champion.
3-time champion, 2 times All Defense, 2004 All Rookie, 2014 Finals MVP. That Finals MVP, it's not enough. Wait. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Wait. Don't look at the narrative. Don't look at, that Finals MVP shouldn't have went to him. Read out what you just read out and tell me those accolades don't put him in the Hall of Fame. 3-time champion, 1-time Finals MVP.
If you compare him to D Rose,
compare him to Grant Hill, compare him to T-Mac, he wasn't the star that they were, but Iggy was a star his first couple years in Philly after Iverson left.
He was a franchise player after a while.
He wasn't a franchise player. That's why
they considered him, don't you think?
He was all they had, but he was the star of a losing franchise.
So Grant Hill, 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 94 All-Rookie, 94 Rookie of the Year, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
3-time champion, one-time Finals MVP, two-time All Defensive Team. Like, come on.
So you feel he should be in there then? Him
I
and D
think
Rose.
I'm not gonna say I feel he should be in there. The fact that other players who don't simply have his resume are in there, he's gonna get in there. That Finals MVP put him over the top.
See, that's why there should be tiers to the Hall of Fame. When they call up Iggy or Grant Hill, we should say, inducted into the tier 3 or tier 4 Hall of Fame. They shouldn't be mentioned in the same breath as Jordan and Kobe. It's Shaq and Patrick Ewing. It's an insult, really. Like,
I agree. But I was watching because they were saying with the NFL, no matter if you don't get it on the first time around or the sixth time around or the 10th time around, you're in the hall. Nobody remembers where you were selected. Same thing with the NBA. Like, everybody doesn't get it on the first time. Richard Hamilton's been on that ballot for like 3 times. Chauncey Billups been on that ballot a couple times and didn't get it. And it's crazy that they didn't get it, but Grant Hill and T-Mac got in on the first time.
Well, the biggest one is Weber. If anyone should be in there, he should be in there. Before Chauncey, before Grant Hill.
Weber should have been in there. Maybe not before Grant, but before T-Mac, definitely.
I don't even know how he still works with the NBA if they did me like that. Like it's an insult, really. Like that's.
But Weber.
And they stole a chip from him. What?
Well, yeah, the NBA took. Yeah.
Something shady went on, and he's not automatically in there when he becomes eligible.
But it's the same way with like T.O. T.O. They look at more than just your resume on the court or on the field. Like, they look at how you handle things. So I think one of the things with Chris Webber that kept him out of the hall is the whole Fab Five situation.
You think so? Why?
It's just I don't know. It just seems no, and the whole thing, everything you've seen when Jalen talks and people talk, who do they put it all on? They put it on Chris Webber. Like, if he comes together, we'll all come together. I feel like it might not be the reason, but I feel like that could like potentially play a part in why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
I would hope not. He had a pretty solid career. If it wasn't for Kobe, he could be Kobe and Shaq. He could have won multiple chips.
I don't think people look at Chris Webber, like when he first came in, he was dominant, but I don't think people look at Chris Webber the same. Like, they don't look at Chris Webber the same way they look at a KG or people like that. If Kevin Garnett never won on the Celtics, would people still look at, like, I feel like people would still put him above Webber or people like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Weber
deserves it. He deserves to be in.
5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 93 All-Rookie, 93 Rookie of the Year, 98.
Don't it sound crazy that all these people are only like 5-time or 6-time All-Stars? Just like All-Star game, I feel like, but then you see Kobe 18 times and LeBron 17 times or 18 and what? Like, it's like 5 times.
So peep this. Rondo, 4-time All-Star, 3-time assist champ, 2009 steals champ, 2-time NBA champ, 2011 All-NBA, 4 times All-Defense, 2006 All-Rookie. That's a solid.
I think Rondo's a no-brainer, but it's not a no-brainer because people were saying before this LA chip that they won last year, they was questioning if he was a Hall of Fame player.
Because he won a lot of years without really doing anything.
But it's not, I don't think it was his fault. I mean, it was his fault. It might not, I don't think it was lack of talent or anything like that. He just butted heads with the coaches. Like, he thought he was smarter than everyone else, which he might, I mean, he could have been, but that don't help you.
Yeah.
But Rondo is definitely a Hall of Fame in my eyes.
He
And the
should
only
be.
knock
Yeah.
the only knock against him is that he couldn't shoot. But he did all of that without being able to shoot. But he's like pure assist. He's like a pure point guard. Like, I don't know.
He should be in there. Like, as far as point guards go, I'll put him.
But we don't look at it by position. Like, we look at it by player. Like, we don't say, oh, it's not an all-star. It's not like the all-star game. Like, you got to vote a center and a power forward. We're not going to look at him and say point guards. Because if you look at the point guards in his generation, are you going to say he's top 5? No, you're not.
What do you call his generation?
He might be top 10, but he wouldn't be top 5.
What do you call his generation?
He won in what, 08?
Mm-hmm.
But he was a rookie. So if you look between 2008 and 2018, let's look at a 10-year span.
Yeah.
Do you think he's top 5 in those 10 years of point guards? I couldn't put him top 5. Because you have Chris Paul.
I don't know that you should put Chris Paul up there.
Chris Paul is above Rondo in terms of point guard.
Talent-wise.
Like Darren Williams was up there ahead of Rondo as far as point guard.
Let's not go there.
People forget Darren Williams was considered like top 2 point guards, him and Chris Paul, for the longest time.
But you saw what he became, right?
What did he become?
He became Roy Hibbert of point guards.
No, it's all good. I'm just saying, like, people have such a short memory when it comes to Darren Williams.
Yeah.
Darren Williams, like, he was the guy. Like, I remember the coaches were saying to their point guards and to their players, study Darren Williams, because he was on the Hall of Fame trajectory, like, for a while. Like, it was an argument. Why are you laughing? It was an argument.
Hilarious, man.
It was an argument of who is the best point guard: Darren Williams, Chris Paul, and whoever else. And Darren Williams was always 1-2. It was always a debate.
Yeah,
he took the Jazz to the playoffs every year. He was there. Got the coach fired, but it's the reason he got the coach fired, because he was a superstar.
They thought he was a superstar.
Don't do that.
Mind you, the Jazz go to the playoffs every year regardless. Till this day. It's a good organization. Not a championship organization, but a...
But he was a big part of that. Like, he was the star at that time.
What happened?
He was on that. He was on the Redeem team that with Kobe and LeBron and all of them. They're like, don't look at that lightly. Like, he was on that team. He was the point guard of that team. Starting point guard, right? No, Chris Paul was. He came off Chris Paul was. But they were 1-2, like always.
What happened?
I don't know. I posed that question a while ago, like, because we look at Rondo and Chris Paul, Tony Parker, even like all these players who were in that conversation at that time.
Yeah.
And they were still playing. And it's just like, I was looking like, is he on the bench somewhere? But he just strictly out the league.
Because his last straw was the Cavs, right? Did he play with LeBron?
No. Did he?
I could have swore they brought him on one of those
teams. You know what I don't understand? Like, the NBA has changed to a shooter's league. You have to have a point guard who can shoot, who could do all that stuff. Darren Williams is that guy. Still.
What do you mean still? I thought he was been out the league for years. Darren
Williams was a shooter. He was a shooter.
Yeah, he ended his career in Cleveland, 26.
But he could shoot. If you look at the league now, Darren Williams, he could still play. I don't know. I think he could. I don't know what happened to him and why he's been out the league for so long. But the way the league is now is perfect for a player like Darren Williams.
He lost.
When you talk about him, you can't call him the Roy Hibbert because the big man is sort of obsolete now. But Darren Williams' position, that's what the NBA is.
You gotta call him Roy Hibbert because Dwight is still around.
Barely.
McGee is still around. Like
McGee.
As role players, even this guy is, even Derrick Rose is still around. Like,
but you said the same thing with Melo. Melo's barely still around because he wasn't going to get another chance. It's like you have to accept. Like Iverson could have been around a lot longer, but you have to accept your role when it comes. Yep. I really don't know what happened to Darren Williams. I was like, is it injury or was it like mental or I don't know why he's not in the league anymore.
The Cavs was a kiss of death. If you can't make it work with LeBron, when LeBron giving you
Did
all
he
of his
play
talent,
with LeBron?
LeBron is.
I don't think he played
2016, 2017 season. He was on that team.
Was LeBron
I don't know if he was
there?
there with Wade. Was
no,
that
but
when Wade was there?
Was LeBron there at that point?
I feel like he was.
What year was it? 2015, 2016, or 2016?
2016, 2017. Did he win a ring? Nah, he didn't win a ring. We know he didn't win a ring.
Oh, the Cavs did. The Cavs won in 2016.
After a trade or?
But LeBron was, he did play with LeBron. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's really like a mystery to me. Like what happened to Darren Williams?
Sad, yo. Sad.
I'm not going to say it's sad. It's just unfortunate. Because he was a Hall of Fame player. You don't think so?
No, he wasn't.
So you say that definitively about Darren Williams or Deron Williams. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't care.
Aaron.
But you have to think about it for Iggy and D Rose. But with Darren Williams, there's no question. Like he's just not, or he wasn't on that path.
3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA, 2005 All-Rookie.
That's because his career was cut in half. Like he didn't play that long.
He was in the league from 2005 until 2017.
Okay, never mind. Yo, stop pulling up facts.
But he had a good run, but
stop using facts. We don't need to do that.
It's sad when you look at the numbers. It's
because he was an All NBA player. He was a good player.
Look at Dwight Howard, 8-time All-Star, 2-time block champ, 2020 NBA champ, 8-time All-NBA, 5-time All-Defensive, 2004 All-Rookie, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. And I don't know what TRB champ is.
Rebound? I don't know. Total rebounds?
Maybe.
But I don't know.
If that's the case, he's a 5-time TRB champ.
Well, yeah, I think he was like the rebounds leader.
Yeah, it's got to be total rebounds. So, and people got the nerves to say he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Because you look at what he's become. You look at the last couple years, it wasn't great.
It wasn't great, but he still took a team to the finals. Like, in his prime, they say he was a cancer, maybe, but he still.
So how do you use that as justification, saying he took a team to the finals in his prime? But then stuff that, like the accolades for D Rose, you don't give it the same credit.
I'll say this. If Grant Hill, T-Mac getting D Rose definitely deserves to be in there.
But I don't think D Rose did with Grant Hill. Grant Hill did his stuff over a few years. Like Derrick Rose was cut shorter than Grant.
Grant Hill is a tier 3 Hall of Famer. I'll give Rose, maybe it's favoritism. I'll give him a tier 2.
Rose?
really tier 3. If I'm being honest, he deserves tier 3. Like,
So let's go real quick into the tiers real quick. So players on tier 1, obviously, Jordan, Magic, Bird, Kobe, Shaq.
even
Will we
without
put-
the rings,
Will you put
Patrick-
Hakeem and people up there?
Hakeem, Patrick Ewing,
You put Barkley up there,
Barkley, yeah,
tier 1.
tier 1.
Okay. So who are the likes in tier 2? Iverson tier 2?
Iverson's tier 1.
Iverson's tier. Whoa.
Iverson's tier 1.
Whoa.
Iverson tier 1. Which you mean?
You
you
have
know
to make-
Iverson tier 1.
You have to make sense of this because you can't put
Iverson got everything that Barkley got. Like he got more than Patrick got. Like
so D Rose is
everything. Yeah.
D Rose is a tier 3, but Iverson's a tier 1.
Yeah. Reggie tier 1.
Like you would have to have a tier 2 for Iverson would be tier 2.
No.
In the Hall of Fame, he would have to be.
So that means Charles gotta be tier 2. Patrick gotta be tier 2.
You would put Iverson above people like Barkley and Ewing.
Both
and-
of them right there with them. He took a team to the finals and won.
But would
game.
people even say like Charles, Reggie, Patrick are tier 1?
They should.
Are we
went to
just
the
looking?
finals
Are we just
multiple
looking
times.
at like? I feel like people get too caught up in nostalgia sometimes when you
That's
look
part
at
of it.
when
That
you
is
look at
part of
Patrick Ewing. Because if you look at Patrick Ewing,
it. Uh-huh.
like we look at it back because he was in that. Do they call it the
Golden
golden
era.
era? They call it sort of the golden era of basketball. When you look at the Magics, the Birds, like Patrick was in that space. Are you going to look at somebody like James Harden and put him up there in like a tier 1? Or are you going to see? So how can you put somebody like Patrick Ewing or Reggie Miller in a tier 1 and not James Harden?
James Harden
Like-
never brought a team to the finals. He never did it.
Yet.
AI did.
No.
James Harden never
Wait.
will.
We can't talk about Kevin Durant taking the Thunder to the finals and don't give James Harden credit for going to the finals.
As being the third option, come on now. Come on.
But he went there.
He did go there. And I'm not James Harden right now. If it's
But
for the
I'm just
Lakers,
saying there's no way that James Harden is a tier 2
tier 2.
and Iverson, Barkley, Patrick Ewing are tier 1. Where would you put Gary Payton in the tiers? No, serious question because he's a Hall of Famer.
Tier 2.
Where would he be?
Tier 2. Honestly, I would do. He took a team to the finals, but
He not only did he take a team to the finals, he has a ring. He got a ring with the Heat, right?
that ring was after the fact, though. Gary Payton. That's a good question. I don't know.
No. I'm only bringing his name up because where would you put Scottie Pippen?
You got to put him in tier 1
You can't.
just off of
You
six
can't.
championships.
You
have
can't. You can't.
to. You have to.
You can't. Because no, and I hate that conversation because people put him like when they put Jordan in the top tier, they put Pippen in the top tier. And it don't work like that.
It's a group deal. Jordan was that great that he brings along one person with him. That's how it is.
Is Rodman tier 1? If you have to think about it, that means no. If you have to think about it, he's not top tier.
That's a tough one.
No. Scottie Pippen is tier 2. Scottie Pippen was never a superstar.
If you take Scotty away, does Jordan
What would you put Isaiah Thomas?
tier 1?
Tier 1. You can't put stars of the league in tier 1 and put Pippen in there.
What is Pippen to you?
He's a backup, not a backup. He's a sidekick.
So where would you put Wade?
So you say James Harden is tier 2. James Harden wasn't a sidekick to KD.
He was a sidekick to Westbrook. he was a sidekick. Like, who knows what would have happened if he would have stayed? And if they wouldn't have chipped, now he might be the MVP. But
and you said he was a sidekick. That's crazy talk.
Isn't it? Like,
but I'm saying,
the third option. You could.
So T-Mac is tier 3 to you.
Yeah, definitely.
So T-Mac, Kobe, Iverson. There are generations like top 3 players. They're not top 3 because people say Shaq and stuff, but they're like, you know what, like the top 5. Like you can't have Kobe, T-Mac, Iverson, or like you can't have the conversation without them. You got to throw Duncan and Shaq and them in there,
yeah,
and Kate. But Iverson and Kobe are tier 1, but T-Mac drops all the way to tier 3.
Definitely, like.
That's why, but there's not that far of a jump off between. If you look at it, like Kobe is definitely tier 1. Iverson would be tier 2, and somebody like T-Mac would be tier 3.
If you switch Kobe to that Sixers team and put AI on that Lakers team, AI would have chips. Kobe wouldn't.
So you're discrediting Kobe now.
I'm not discrediting him because he did it without Shaq.
Do you think Kobe would have gotten that Sixers team to the finals?
Definitely.
Most people say no. They think Iverson is the only one who could have done that.
No.
That team was built around Iverson's.
If Kobe had a similar team, like one of those 06, 07 teams built around him, when he was still, he could have made it to the finals.
You can't say that definitively, though.
Not definitively, but what AI did is special, but Kobe could have.
And that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. But he wouldn't be, if you're talking about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, can't be on tier 1.
But Patrick can? Chuck can?
You put Patrick on tier 1. Patrick Ewing would be on the lesser tier for me.
What about Chuck?
Chuck got an MVP. He got accolades. I wouldn't be mad if Chuck's on the top 1. But honestly, with the tiers, championships make a difference on the tier that you're on and the role that you played to get that chip. That's why Gary Payton wouldn't be a top tier.
So hold on. Gary Payton, 9-time All-Star, 95 Steal champ, 2006 NBA champ, 9-time All-NBA.
Listen, you talk about Gary Payton, I want to laugh like Jordan did in the doc. Like Gary Payton he's a Hall of Fame player. He wouldn't, if you're talking about levels, he wouldn't be in the top tier. You're not gonna look at him as a point guard the same way you look at Magic.
9-time All-Defense.
You're not gonna look at him as a point guard the same way you look at Magic.
95 Defensive Player of the Year. He has a resume.
But look at the point guards in the Hall of Fame. You're not going to look at Gary Payton the same way you look at all of them. You probably even put Stockton above GP.
Then if Gary,
would you put Stockton above Gary? All-time assist leader, all-time steals leader.
Yes, I would. And I would put Stockton in tier 1 as well.
Would Malone be tier 1 for you?
Yeah. You have to.
It's a stain. It's a stain that they couldn't win.
But they lost against the greatest. Like that's the.
And Stockton only has the assists that he has because of Malone. Like if he played with other players, like he wouldn't be that high on that.
Scottie only got the chips he got because he played with Jordan. It's sometimes that's just the way.
That's why Scotty's not a top tier.
But that's why he is like.
Is Joe Dumars a top tier for you? Is he in the Hall of Fame?
I believe he should be.
I don't even know. I don't even think he's in the Hall of Fame. But I'm just saying he was the sidekick to Isaiah.
Yeah, yeah, you could say that. And he is in the Hall of Fame.
Is he a lesser tier? If he is, then Pippen is.
Is Dwayne Wade a lesser tier
Dwayne Wade won before LeBron came there,
with Shaq?
and Shaq was the sidekick to Dwayne at that point.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I would.
He was the MVP.
No,
Dwayne was
Dwayne carried that team. Shaq was at the end at that point.
He was.
He had a little bit of gas in the tank.
Years.
Huh?
Even though he played like 5 more years.
He didn't play 5 real years. He just didn't.
So you put Dwayne tier 1.
Dwayne Wade is tier 1. From that run that he went on with the Heat, yeah, he's tier 1.
What's
And
Bosh?
you look at, Bosh ain't in the Hall of Fame yet. He's not even in the conversation yet.
Wow.
Is he?
He doesn't play basketball anymore.
I don't know why you said that, but
because you're saying not yet. Like,
because with Bosh, you would have to look at his career on the Raptors. Because if you look at the Heat, just because he won the championships with the Heat doesn't make him a Hall of Fame player. That makes him a champion, but that doesn't make him a Hall of Fame player.